The English Oxford Dictionary defines producer as a person, a company, or a country that grows or makes foods, goods, or materials. But they didn't need any of those words. All they needed was a picture to the man to my right. It's Arthur O'Dea. Arthur, good morning.
I had no idea where that was going.
The man to my left played for 9 clubs throughout his career. Counted them last night. None of the clubs had the letter M in them. But here's an M to describe him. It's the majestic Keith Treacy.
Keith, good morning. Nice. I like that. Thanks.
How many letters did you go through before kind of go?
I went for what's the most box office letter that's left out of all of Keith's clubs.
Okay.
Could you name your clubs in order?
In order? Ooh, I can definitely try.
Including loans?
Yeah. Blackburn Rovers.
Hold on, no. Yep.
Press. No. Did I go on loan at Blackburn? Yeah, Sheffield United on loan.
Yeah, who'd you go to before that?
Did I go to somebody before that?
You played 4 games for another S.
Oh, Stockport. Yeah, I went to Jim Gannon's Stockport. Then Sheffield United.
No, Sheffield United's ages away.
Is it?
Oh, sorry, on loan, yeah.
On
and then
loan.
you left Blackburn in 2010 permanently for
Preston.
And from there you went to
Burnley.
Yeah. And while at Burnley you went on loan to
Sheffield Wednesday.
And then in 2014 you moved permanently to
Barnsley.
And then you came home.
Yeah, a 2-year deal. Lasted about... I was there for 6 months, but really I was probably mentally there for 2.
Drogheda?
No, I mean Barnsley.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't give myself the best chance. It was a 2-year deal. Like I say, I lasted about 6 months, and I came back, and John McDonald came into the kitchen and convinced me to sign for Drogheda when I really just wanted to keep my feet up for a while and relax. But yeah, John came in and said, "Look, will you give us a bit of a hand? We need a player." And Drogheda weren't in great shakes at the time, and we played against Limerick and we lost 4-1, and Johnny Mack turned around and said, "I've had enough, I'm leaving," and left me in the building for the next 2 months with people I didn't even know. But Mark Kinsella got the job anyway, so I got close enough with Mark, and I actually enjoyed my time at Drogheda. But yeah, I tried to do an uncle a favour and got backfired on me.
So you scored 1 goal in 12 games for Barnsley, and then 2 in 8 for Drogheda, and then you finished up with Pats.
Yeah.
1 goal in 14 appearances. That goal is on YouTube.
Against Derry?
The left-footed finish, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it was up in Derry when the Brandywell actually had grass before it was plastic pitch. But yeah, I remember it. I remember Liam Buckley telling me after the game. I remember having a bit of a smile on my face, thinking, "Oh, I've just scored and we drew with Derry. That's not a bad result." But Liam pulled me after the game and said, "Look, you're going to have to stop, Keith. You've a bit of a belly on you. You're going to hurt yourself basically." And actually rang me wife and said the same to me wife. And yeah, although I thought I'd done well and scored a goal, it was the overall picture we had to zoom out. And yeah, Liam wasn't too happy with me that day.
You joined us 37 years and 3 days old. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, 47 on Saturday I was. Had a great birthday. Really good birthday.
What'd you do?
Nothing. I was allowed to. I usually get up in the mornings and bring Teddy to the Sheriff Street little football academy under 8s or under 7s. But the wife got up and did that. And when she came home, she made me breakfast. Yeah, I had no work. I had the day off. I just put my feet up and watched all the football. It was brilliant.
I saw you in a restaurant.
Restaurant. Yeah, we went for an Indian that night out in Clontarf. It was really nice.
Arthur, good morning. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
You well?
Yeah, no, grand.
Flying it. There's a bit of news here to get through before we get into the juicy topics of the football world. So the France star hit with 12-game ban for biting Wafer's arm. So she'll miss the next 6 months, which is not much good to Ireland. Berthoumieu, did you see this?
Yeah. It was shocking, wasn't it?
Missed at the time, started the second half. Ireland were 13-0 up. A lot of sin bins in this game, 4 I think in total, but no red cards. So Berthoumieu suspended for 12 matches, reduced from 18 after she was found to have bitten Aoife Wafer. As I say, not much good to Ireland, who are out of the World Cup.
And am I right in saying that it was shown on the big screen in the stadium, and the referee had his back to it, and the girls are saying, "Turn around and look at it." And
I think the ref was requested 3 times to have a look and didn't. But our own Susanna Mallon, who's been covering the World Cup for us, she was on with us yesterday morning, was at the game in Exeter live, and she said she was apoplectic. It was shown on the big screen. And it's definitely got the people exercise as well, because we put that out on social media yesterday, and a lot of people are getting involved about how ridiculous it was that it wasn't caught.
Yeah,
considering it was captured.
Yeah, it's
no decision
fairly easy to see with the pictures, isn't it? She's definitely chomping down.
She chomped down, and then she's going to be taking a 6-month break as a result. Henry Shefflin confirmed as the new Kilkenny under-20 hurling manager. This is surely teeing up, is it, for Ling's eventual replacement?
I don't know.
Does it depend? I was going to say it depends how it goes with the under-20s, but does it?
No, wouldn't say
You know, it's nothing to do with seniors. So
unless it was a disaster. But like,
if it goes really well, I don't know how much it will help, but maybe marginally.
Yes,
whenever Ling will go.
I don't think he needs to do that. You know what I mean? To get that job.
No,
It probably doesn't hurt to be inside the system all the same.
So he's back as the Ballyhale Shamrocks manager now.
Yeah.
He'll take this as well.
So it can only help, but like, I don't know. It's a weird one where they're like it's not like he was he's seeing off an older incumbent. Like Derek Ling was his teammate. He's kind of younger than him.
So there's no sign of Ling going anywhere, right? But like for Kilkenny, it's like they're just tipping away at the moment. But it was, you know, the semi-final heartbreak. They're a semi-final team at the moment.
Yeah.
Kilkenny seniors. So it's going fine under Ling. The thing with Kilkenny is we don't really talk about them throughout the year because they're playing in Leinster and we're consumed by Munster. And then by the time we see them, it's almost their last game.
Yeah.
They get knocked out. So what do you make of Kilkenny? How do you judge them?
Look, it is interesting. It's a weird old situation that they're in because you don't. I'm sure they don't see it that way. I'm sure they see plenty of value in winning the Leinster Championship. But
Totally, yeah.
Objectively, I suppose it's, what are they on now? They're like 6 or 7 in a row or something.
And they hammered Galway in that Leinster final.
It was complete disparity.
So it's difficult to analyse Ling.
Yeah, it is. Now, I suppose the worst you could say. They've not gotten worse under him. So they're kind of, he's kept them at a level.
They're tipping away, they're fine, but they're just probably not good enough to win the All-Ireland. Which is no shame in this era where there's about 3 or 4 contenders at any one time. Anyway, he's the new under-20 boss, Henry Shefflin. And the World Athletics Championships, so we have Cian McPhillips in action today at midday in the 800 metre heat. Mark English at 12:10 in the 800 metre heat, in a different heat. Charlene Maudsley is at 1:20 in the 400 metre semi-final, and then Sarah Healy is in the 1500 metre final at 2:05 this afternoon. They're the World Championships from Tokyo. Yesterday, Andrew Costrin got into the 1500 metre final. It's a hell of a performance from Andrew. But Keith, how about this, right? Back of the Irish Daily Mail and a couple of other papers that you're reading this morning. United Stars have Amorim doubts. Players losing confidence, but board backing boss for now. Manchester United are backing Ruben Amorim from now, but players are losing confidence in his system amid a growing crisis at Old Trafford. It is understood some players have never been comfortable with the 3-4-2-1 system that Amorim introduced. It's their worst start to a Premier League season since the first year of the competition in 92-93. A lot of money has been spent. Are they any different at all?
They're different. I don't know about better, but they're definitely different. The fact that you spent 200 odd million means they should be better than what they are, but honestly, when I look at the system, the more I look at it and think it just doesn't suit the dressing room. And I know people have said that over and over again, but it's so blatant. It's smacking everybody in the face. A 4-3-3 looks absolutely brilliant for that Manchester United team. When you think of Mbeumo, Cunha and Šeško, the 3 up top, and then Bruno Fernandes in the 10. Put Kobe Mainoo back in there. All of a sudden you've got legs in the midfield. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's an awful lot of problems at Manchester United. I think the tip of the iceberg is on the pitch, but there's the iceberg is huge at that club at the minute.
Kobe Mainoo posted a picture recently of Whiplash, the movie Whiplash. Did you ever see that?
Whiplash, no?
Yeah, it's about this prestigious music school and this drummer who's obsessed with drumming, and he has a teacher who's basically a lunatic perfectionist and has ridiculously high standards and is violent with his students, particularly this guy.
Right.
Because he seems to have a lot of faith in him, but he's the hardest on him. And Kobe Mainoo posted a picture of that, inferring that this is how Ruben Amorim deals with him.
Right.
What is...
When you said Whiplash, I thought Jean-Claude Van Damme. This is one of these old action movies.
No, this was like art, taken very seriously, won an Oscar and all that. Yeah, J.K. Simmons, the guy who plays the main role. So Kobe Mainoo posted that. He looked for a loan move towards the end of the transfer window. And it is strange in this time where Manchester United have no real obvious midfield partnership that really works in the system that Amorim decides repeatedly not to start Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah, and look, a lot of United fans have said to me, how about Kobe Mainoo fighting for his place and, biting down on the gum shield. I totally get that, and he is doing that to a certain degree. But when you've got Casemiro in there and Ugarte, who Casemiro for me is not mobile enough, he's not robust enough, he's not dynamic enough to go from box to box, although he will do some bits well. And then you've got Bruno Fernandes dropping in the centre midfield, and he hasn't got a defensive bone in his body. He doesn't run back with the same enthusiasm as he runs forward. I think if he just locks on to Foden for that forced goal on the weekend, it's totally avoidable. And as soon as Foden heads the ball into the back of the net, you see Fernandes throwing his arms in the air. And where'd that goal come from? You. It was you, mate. And it's so obvious. So I understand why Kobe Mainoo is looking at it thinking, I'm the best centre midfielder you have here.
Yeah. Do you know the way we're kind of jokingly comparing the Republic of Ireland with Manchester United? It's quite similar. But like, there are striking similarities at times. And you were on with us last week, very passionate. It was a great reaction to it online about what you thought about Ireland the morning after the Armenia game. But one of your big things was that the players aren't calling each other out on the pitch. Is that the case for United? Like, are they actually are doing that? Because Bruno Fernandes will let you know if he's unhappy with something. But it doesn't seem to make too much of a difference. Yeah, but
I think when Bruno Fernandes does it, it sort of falls on deaf ears because he does it all the time. It's a regular occurrence that he's losing his head at everybody and waving his arms and throws the dummy out of the pram and gets the bottom lip out. So when he does it, I don't think you take too much heed of it. They do seem a little bit nice, but the manager seems a little bit nice. The manager hasn't really criticised anybody openly. I know there's one or two players he's gone with that have left the club, but in terms of players that generally start for Manchester United, I haven't seen him criticise anybody.
Do you think he's a bit nice, Ruben Amorim? I think he's a bit snarly with the media this season already. Because like Patrick Davison's asking him in Sky afterwards about the system midfield, and he's basically shutting down that conversation, Keith. It was like, to the tone of, you don't understand what you're talking about. The midfield is not the problem.
The midfield is a problem. It's a massive, massive problem.
But he refuses to engage in that conversation. So we're never going to learn if that actually is the case, because he shuts it down all the time. And any given opportunity, he does not want to talk about the issue of the system.
But there's an interesting thing in the Telegraph this morning. It's only 4 games, and obviously a few of this would have come after that game at the weekend was already won. But Man United have the most shots of any team in the Premier League this season. They're 4th in the Premier League for shots on target, 11th for goals. They're 2nd for expected goals. I don't know what open play XG is, but they're 2nd in that too. They've had more touches in the opposition box than any other team. And they've had the 5th highest passes into the box, so whatever.
So it's all good?
No, it's not that it's all good, but that would suggest that the conversion rate of whatever they have of 5.7% might be more problematic than the midfield. They're creating chances.
Well, maybe that's the point.
Yeah, they're creating loads of chances.
They did at 0-0 the other day. They had 3 or 4 counter attacks, and they just couldn't do anything with them.
And
the final ball was poor.
I know he's the option. He gets a lot of target, a lot of abuse. Ugarte was quite good in that first half.
Yeah, he was all right. He did his job specifically, but on the body so limited.
I can only remember Donnarumma making 2 saves. There was the one from Mbeumo, the volley that was a decent save.
What a volley and what a save.
There was one that I can remember as well. But, these sort of things, Eddie Howe was mad about this sort of stuff. All of a sudden you'd play a game on a Saturday and think, Jesus, that wasn't great. And on a Monday you'd get hit with all these stats and you start thinking, maybe it wasn't bad. Your eyes don't lie to you. They do not lie to you. You can start scratching these things and go, well, we can manipulate the stats and make it look like this and make it look like that. What do you feel when you watch Manchester United? Most of it's rage with me, because it's just so. Look, it's like going to a card game and you're telling people what you have. I'm going to play a 3-4-3 regardless of what's happening here.
Might get back to that point in a second, but is it rage from the football fan and ex-player and coach in you? Because as an Arsenal supporter, you'd be delighted with this and let it continue.
Of course,
but it's actually is it so annoying to watch? That's why you get annoyed.
It's so annoying to watch, because I think it's not an easy fix, but I think there's a much fluider system you could play, a tactically different game. There's better personnel and different players. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, I take Manchester United's point and Manchester United fans, he's a very good number 10, probably one of the best in the Premier League. But when you bring it out and you say, right, centre midfielder, can he do both? No, he can't. He can't defend. So why would you play him in as a centre midfielder? And people telling me he's world class as well. He's world class, Keith. He's our best player. Just because he's United's best player doesn't put him on world class status. I really don't think he's world class. I think he's a very, very good player, but that world class is thrown around way too easy for me. And no, I think there's an awful lot with that Manchester United team that is just wrong.
Yeah, but it was interesting before the Burnley game. Amorim was making that point. They kept on talking about it, the tactics and everything else. But his point was that, like, until they nail this, they can't start doing anything else. There's like, basically, he was like, when we get this 100% perfect, then we can start making changes. And I was just kind of thinking, because that's the thing that Ten Hag didn't have, the courage or the conviction with that, where he came in with a plan and just bottled it and started doing whatever he could to possibly make the thing work, and then he had nothing. So I don't know, like, I'm fully with you. You watch it and, like, they can look appalling. And to be honest with you, what kills them all time, but I do think more than any sort of systematic, and maybe the system's responsible, but it seems more than anything systematic, it just seems that it's like individual mistakes again and again and again.
Yeah, like, I think the players then will go, it's because we're not comfortable within the system.
Potentially,
that's why we're making so many mistakes.
If they had a proper goalkeeper, for instance,
they might do now.
They've probably won. Whatever way, you never know how it goes, but they don't necessarily lose that Arsenal game.
Yeah.
They don't let, like, the Fulham or the Burnley thing, it wasn't as difficult as it was made to be. So I don't know. I think it's like heading in a positive enough direction overall. But it is interesting from the Mainu point of view. I mean, I know from Fernandes can't defend. Mainu's not much better at that. Yeah. There's no discipline whatsoever.
He's just more robust, isn't he? If somebody skips past Mainu, we can get back and have another nibble. He's athletic enough, whereas Fernandes, you skip past him, he just goes, leave it.
There's a moment in the derby that Mainu skips by like 3 players and Pep has his hand to his head. No, I don't know if he's exasperated his own team or he's like, this is a hell of a player you have here.
Not.
He's good. The
one thing that, when I say I watch Manchester United and I rage,
he's okay.
It's because of the system. I mean, you look at it and you think Manchester United aren't good enough to say this is how we play and we're going to impose ourselves on every team that we play against. They're not good enough to do that. There's an awful lot of teams better than them in the Premier League now. So I get the impression that when Ruben Amorim sets up on a Friday, he very rarely takes the opposition into account. And he should be. He should be taking the opposition into account in every game he plays and thinking, well, this is what they do and we set up that way.
I think the opposition is irrelevant at the moment.
But I don't
think it matters who they play, because it's just like you can't predict they're going to do anything. They're at home to Sunderland in the last game before the next international break, and they play Chelsea next, and I couldn't tell you what's going to happen between the Chelsea game and the Sunderland match.
No, but I'm more looking at the, see, when they play the likes of a Bournemouth, they might think, we're a better team than Bournemouth, we should be able to impose ourselves. But Bournemouth's in transition, Bournemouth are absolutely lightning with Semenyo and Ryan Christie. When the ball drops, they can be at the drop of a hat. So why don't Manchester United think, well, when we have comfortable possession, we're going to lock down the middle of the park and we'll lock onto people and we'll do man-to-man marking? They don't. They just think, right, well, we have the ball, we're attacking, let's keep going forward. Like what was always said to me from Mark Hughes to Sean Dyche to Graham Souness, what if this breaks down now?
Right.
And there's no players in that Manchester United team that are thinking, okay, we're attacking now, but what if we lose it? Okay. It's all about push, and it's, for me, it's just not right. It's only one side of the game.
That's probably been the case for 12 years, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, but Manchester United over that period are notoriously very, very strong and brilliant going forward. Whereas now they're not. They're a very, very different team.
But so everyone when he comes in says, this is the system, is going to take 4 or 5 windows to make it happen, right? He's had one, the January one you kind of allow. I think only Dorgo come in. And then this one, it's been so far Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo. Sesko has yet to get fully going. But for Cunha and Mbeumo, they've both fit in brilliantly. You know, they're serious improvement. They get whatever they're doing. Is it not just a case then of waiting the windows until he can have the team he wants to play it? Because it seems like everyone says 4 or 5 windows, but then after the first full one, we're like, it's ridiculous, it's not working.
Yeah, but I get that he's putting building blocks in place and he's sorting out different units. But if you gave me a blank check and said sort out that Manchester United team before Mbeumo, Cunha and Šeško come in, I'm going straight at the heart of the middle. I'm going into the
strange.
I'd be looking at the goalkeeping situation and think, well, we're not having Onana, sort that one out straight away. I know they're bringing in another French goalkeeper, but it's like he's gone. For me, I always call the top of the pitch luxury positions. They're great, but if the lads in the middle and the lads at the back aren't doing the job, the lads at the top are really, really up against it. So for me, engine room has to go and get sorted, and the centre halves need to be sorted as well.
The top of the pitch wins you games, though. I think he was right to target that in the summer.
Yeah, he does, but it's not like he's lumping her up there and saying, look, these lads will win us games and we'll keep it nice and tight. It's this open, free-flowing Harry Maguire on the halfway line. Like, this stuff is not highlighting attributes that Manchester United players have.
Is there a world where he starts up front and he's sorted out the goalkeeper and now he'll work next on the defence and midfield?
Yeah, but surely you do that first. Sure, like I've always been told that if you're an average enough team or you're struggling, make sure you keep clean sheets. If you keep a clean sheet, you don't lose the game of football. It's as simple as that. But yet United are thinking, well, we need to be sexy, we need to be free flowing. United haven't got that, and the more they open up in games, the more people want it. I mean, that interview that Alex Iwobi did after the Fulham game.
Didn't see that. What happened?
He basically said after the game, he was asked like a loose question, like what was the tactics against Manchester United, and he basically said, well, we knew if we could get the other side of the United midfield that the centre halves don't want to come out and jump, and we would have the freedom of the park. That's an opposition player just come out and tell you, well, we get the other side of your midfield, centre halves don't want to come out because there's an 80 yards of grass behind them, so all you have to do is get the other side of Casemiro. And you're in the money. And when an opposition player, not the opposition manager, not some sort of tactician who knows what's going on, just Alex Iwobi comes out and says, this is what we do against United, and it's so easy. Yet it hasn't been addressed.
Eric Ten Hag's tenure, right? You were talking about it there, and how it needed to change at the end. And that's why there was so much patience given and leeway afforded to Amorim at the start. Was like, it was going to take a long time to fix this, but like Amorim won the League Cup and the FA Cup, right? But he has no real legacy at the club.
Ten Hag.
Who did I say?
Amorim.
Ten Hag won both domestic cup competitions, but he has no legacy really because he had no discernible style of play. Because, like you say, he changed it after the first two games of his time in charge, famously were disasters against Brighton and Brentford respectively. So he changed, and United eventually won competitions amid a lot of chaos in between. But there's no real memory of Ten Hag at the club. Whereas Amorim's probably done the opposite, because he's really stamped his mark as like, this guy I know exactly what I want to do. I'm also telling the world what I want to do, but it hasn't worked yet. So if it does work, the reward is massive, because he's literally said from day one, this club's a mess, I'm going to try and change it. This is how I'm going to change it. This is the only way we're going to change it, and it will work. You just got to give me time.
Yeah, but you're also telling every other opposition manager in the Premier League that this is the way we're going to try and beat you. That's
where I was going with this. That is. It just occurred to me really in the last couple of days. It's like he's repeatedly telling people we're not changing the system. Opposition managers, happy days.
Yeah, but
line up against that.
It's not that simple, I'm sure. Like, in terms of not changing the system doesn't mean you don't have tweaks within who's where, whatever.
Personnel, maybe, but they know what they're going to do, basically.
But they're not they might but he knows. It's not like just because we don't know, for instance, what whoever you want to take, Fulham's. We don't watch as much Fulham. We don't care as much about Fulham. We don't talk as much about Fulham. I'm pretty sure every other manager in the Premier League has a fairly good handle on what Fulham are going to do based on what they've done. Do you know what I mean? It's not like every team is coming into a game with no idea of what's going to happen here.
Yeah, but I understand that, Arthur. You will generally, everybody knows the bones of what every other club is going to do. But with Manchester United, the amount of times I've been on a pitch on a Friday morning and the manager is saying, right lads, it's going to be a 4-4-2 or a 4-1-4-1. But with Manchester United, you're saying it's going to be a 3-4-3. He's going to play there. He's going to do that. He can't run in the middle. They won't jump from centre half, and it's the same stuff over and over. And it's not Bruno Fernandes might come a little bit higher, because he won't. It's going to be a flat forward in the middle, and it's. Look, I just think you're showing your hand to everybody, and I always think the best teams that I played for, we always spoke about the opposition, and I don't know why managers feel the need to be wedded to formations. Think, well, I'm a 3-4-3 merchant, and that's it. How about saying, well, I'm in anything. I'm going to try and win this game, whether that's a 5-4-1, a 5-3-2, whatever you want to think. I'm going to take the opposition into account every single game, and I will chop and change according to what's in front of me. Why do you have to be wedded to a 3-4-3?
It's probably a bit of inexperience. He's only 40. It's just he hasn't seen, I suppose, that many different. I know he'll have practiced and everything else, but it's not like he has a lifetime's worth of. Oh, this is what I do when this happens, or things. So I'd say I think there's a self-preservation element to it. That I think whatever happens here, the way he leaves, his reputation's not going to be that badly burnt by it. In terms of he'll have no issue getting the next job. Yeah. Maybe he won't. It's not like he's going to go to Real Madrid, or whatever from here. But he'll have no. I think I saw the Benfica president to be, or hopeful, was at the Etihad on I don't know if I've ever heard of like a club figure coming up to kind of tap up a manager.
And to be fair, if you're Ruben Amorim, you're probably looking at Vincent Kompany getting the Bayern Munich job after doing so poorly with Burnley and just sticking to his principles, saying, well, this is what I do, and then he goes and gets the Bayern Munich job. So he's probably thinking, I'm sticking. I'm just...
Back to the Irish stuff now. This is like Hamer Halgrimson. Like we're already talking about this manager getting replaced. He's the 7th manager to attempt this since Ferguson. So he'll be lumped in with the rest, you know. But look, United have won everything but the Premier League and Champions League in the last 12 years, but still it seems more chaotic than ever.
Yeah.
United sources say it would be wrong to suggest Amorim has lost the dressing room and insists he still has the support among the squad. But Wayne Rooney's been chatting. He said he questions whether the players understand the system and claimed that the team are going backwards under Amorim. I don't think anyone can understand and comprehend what's going on. We all struggle to see how Man United play in the derby. What are the patterns? What are we seeing that might improve the team? We've all played the game at the highest level and it's very difficult to see.
But we do see the patterns. We see exactly what's going on, like in terms of what they do. They keep working the ball down the right on that side of things in that game every single time.
Patrick Dorgo gets an awful lot of the ball.
Patrick Dorgo's always bombing on forward, and to be fair, his delivery's not great, but it is funny how it's like I do find that strange. Like, you do see what they're trying to do.
Yeah, the players
keeps falling apart.
Aren't having it, you know. Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes are the same.
I think the opposition are happy to let Dorgo have the ball.
Yeah, I think so.
Dorgo's getting an awful lot of space. The opposition are probably saying, let Dorgo have it. You just said his delivery is not great.
It's not.
So
I guess in an ideal world, in 4 windows' time, there's a new left-sided player.
There probably is. That's the strange thing.
The point of the thing is, though, like, if he's better, that works.
Yeah, but if the ball should be my uncle, like that would be...
But that's the point of the thing. So is it the system or is it the players? And I know then you say, well, cut the cloth to go to the system, but like we've seen this team play 4-3-3 a lot, and it's not much better.
You know what's also... He's only 40, like you say, right? I think he only turned 40 since he joined.
Yeah.
But they've, like Keith, like this is United, and they've given this young fella, by all intents and purposes, a young fella in management, all the control in the world, right? So he comes in and he was like, by the way, this is the system I play, I only play the system, right? And then the United lads who hire him, they look at the squad, but they don't think for a second, well, it's obviously not going to work with this squad. But sure, we'll bring him in anyway. Yeah.
And then Amad Diallo plays as a right wing back. And a lot of people have said to me, oh, Keith, that's his best position. Not when he has to defend, it's not. And Bruno Fernandes in as a centre midfielder is not his best position.
Can you give me your 11, right, when everyone's fit? Because look, they're only going to play once a week, with the exception of the FA Cup third round week, right? So, and even then you get that to yourself, don't you, the FA Cup third round. So they're only going to play once a week. So they very much going to have a strongest 11, right? So first of all, straight away you're starting, who's the goalkeeper? And that's a big problem.
Yeah, you've a problem straight off the bat, haven't you?
Now, this Lamens guy made the most saves in the top 5 European leagues last season, but that's, would suggest Standard Liège don't have a great defence. So he made a load of saves. So do the club put him in? Okay, maybe. They signed him for 20-odd million, which isn't that much these days, but it's a new goalkeeper replacing a goalkeeper who's gone. So is he your goalkeeper, first of all?
Yeah, I probably would throw him in. I don't think Boyan Dare has done enough to say I should stay in the goal. He didn't do anything wrong against Manchester City, but I do think from crosses and corners he is going to be highlighted, and that sort of dirty stuff, the half and half, is it the defender's ball, the goalkeeper's ball? People will, lower teams will just ask more and more questions of that. So I'm not too sure. I probably would put the new guy in, but this is the thing with the front, with Manchester United. I look at the players and I think there's a good group there, but my God, I wouldn't be playing a 3-4-3 with them. I just wouldn't. When I look at who I have and what's available, it's not a 3-4-3.
So the problem there is we know it's only going to be a 3-4-3 under this manager. So then you have to pick your 11 in accordance with that.
But that's what I'm saying. You're dragging Fernandes and putting him into a position he's not the best at. You're putting Diallo into a position he's not the best at. You're asking the likes of Mateus De Ligt to stand on the halfway line when they don't have the ball. And De Ligt is not slow, but he's not quick enough to be saying get on the foot races with everybody. The majority of centre forwards or number 10s or wingers in the Premier League will be able to get beyond De Ligt. So why you be pushing up the pitch and playing these 3-4-3? I don't know. Look, my team would be fairly similar to the team that comes out. It's just the tactical setup and the system would be different.
We'll get back to the United would-be 11 under Keith Treacy later in the show. In the meantime, OTP Breakfast at UPMC Orthopaedic Care when things don't move. Rotator, Ben Knight, the use that choose us to help you get back in action. It's